Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video. So yesterday we actually got some leaks of some scans from the magazine that shows us 3 different new leaders coming to the next starter deck, which is ST-10, which is an ultimate deck. If you guys aren't sure what it is, we'll get into detail later on. But essentially, it's Luffy, Law, and Eustass, 3 different leaders that you can use for the next starter deck, and they are all red-purple leaders. All of them have really interesting effects, and some of them, you know, different powers, different lives. We'll take a look later on, don't worry. The news came out yesterday, but I only had time to record it today, so here we go. But we're just going to talk about the 3 new leaders coming to ST-10, Luffy, Law, and Eustass, red-purple. Okay, let's go. Alright, so before we get into the leaders themselves, here is kind of like a leaked image. They put it out on the website for the One Piece card game official Japanese website, and then they took it down. That's when we got all like the kind of details on it, but essentially this is how the ultimate deck looks like. So the ultimate deck is actually like a pre-constructed starter deck that is ready for competitive play. That is according to what the website or whatever the team describes it as. And it will feature 3 different leaders. We got Luffy, Trafalgar Law, and Eustass, which you can kind of interchange. That's what it's kind of going for, that you can use any one of the 3 leaders because they are all red purple. So if you want to use Luffy as the leader of the deck, you can. If you want to switch it out to Law, switch out to Eustass, you can as well. So now let's just jump into the leaders themselves. Alright, so first of all, let's take a look at Luffy. Luffy is the first leader, 6,000 power for a 3 life character. It's a dual color, red purple, 6,000 power leader with 3 life. I don't know what to say. I mean, like, it's 3 life. Is that good? Is that bad? We'll take a look at the effect in a bit, but I just want to draw your attention to the bottom right corner of the card where you can see the usually in the that kind of devil fruit symbol, it's 1 and now it's 2. So this doesn't mean like it's first edition or second edition. I think this just means like, okay, this is going to be like the 2nd year onwards for the set. So it kind of determine like maybe they can potentially make it to like blocks, like okay, you can only play cards using from like the 2nd year onwards in like future tournaments. I don't think it's going to happen real soon. It's just potentially they could if there's more cards coming into the meta game and everything else. But if for those of you who are unsure, 2 means essentially just 2nd year. Okay, now let's get into the card effect itself. So Luffy, 6,000 power. It's really powerful. It's Whitebeard. It's 6,000 power, but it starts with 3 life. And the effect is activate main once per turn. If your board has 0 Dawn or your board has 8 or more Dawn, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. And that's essentially the effect itself. So what I can understand from the translation is that if you're starting the game, you get your 1, your 2 Dawns, and then if you play something that Dawn minuses it, so that you have 0 Dawn on your field, you can use Luffy's ability to get 1 Dawn back. Or if you have 8 or more Dawn, then you do use Dawn minus effects. You can use his ability as long as you have 8 or more Dawns to get the Dawn back, essentially. Now this isn't a super powerful effect. At least in my opinion, I'm sure there are cards coming to this starter deck, which we'll eventually talk about, that will make this ability kind of work. Essentially, maybe like a 1 or 2 cost that's Dawn minus something. Or if you're going first, like 1 cost Dawn minus 1, do something, right? And then you can immediately take advantage of Luffy's effect. It has to be a powerful, 1 cost Dawn minus effect for it to be worth playing Luffy. But Luffy does start with 6,000 power, and we know how strong 6,000 power leaders are. We have taken a look at Whitebeard, we've taken a look at how strong Whitebeard has performed, and Whitebeard gets down to like 0 life immediately and you can still protect it, and this leader plays red as well, so technically you can kind of do the same thing, except you have access to more colors. So I guess that's how they are balancing it, by giving it 1,000 power more, being at 6,000, and the fact that it's a double colored leader, it's dropping it down to 3 life. So essentially, I think maybe the effect will have some play in the future, but it alone, with the color combination, I can still see Luffy being a threat. 6,000 power is nothing to scoff at. You got plenty of counters, efficient 1 cost event counters in red and purple. Don't forget, now you can use not only radical beams and guard points, but you can essentially use blast breath alongside your 1 cost event counters with this leader. Makes it kind of powerful as well. But yeah, Luffy, what do you think about this? I'm not really sold on the effect, but the potential is there for this leader based on the colors alone and the fact that it's a 6,000 power leader. Eventually, someone's going to make it work, and eventually it's going to be one of the strongest leaders out there. But let's move on to the next one, which I think is kind of the one of the ones with the strongest effect. So we got Trafalgar Law, and of course Trafalgar Law always really powerful. So yeah, red, purple, 5000 power, but with 4 life. So this is kind of your run-of-the-mill multicolored leader. Its ability, its activate main once per turn, Dawn -3. Return one of your opponent's characters with 3000 power or less to the bottom of their deck, then play one 4 cost or lower character from your hand. So yeah, this is actually quite powerful. I mean, red has so many ways to reduce power. You got Gordon, you got Round Table, you got so many things, the Zorotamas and Otamas, reducing something that you want to get rid of. For example, you use Gordon on a Marco the Phoenix, return Gordon to the bottom of your deck, reduce Marco the Phoenix by 3000 power, Dawn -3, use Law's ability to return Marco the Phoenix to your bottom of the opponent's deck, and then you can play out a 4-cost character from your hand. That's just straight removal. Yes, it is Dawn -3, but purple has ways to kind of get it back, essentially, like with Ram cards, Miss All Sunday, essentially. So yeah, this could be really good. I think it's a decent effect leader. Law is very powerful, and you know how it feels to kind of it's a 2-for-1. For just Dawn -3, you get to get rid of one of your opponent's characters, and you get to play out something on your own. So it's a great tempo card, great ability. Love the art on the leader as well. Can't wait to see the foiling on these once we get them. I did pre-order this, so I'm going to open it up for sure. But yeah, Law, what do you think about Law? Do you prefer Law? Do you prefer Luffy? So, but now let's talk about the last one, which is none other than Eustass Kid. Now, Eustass Kid is pretty interesting. It's a multicolored leader that can attack. It's 5000 power, and it starts with 5 life. So, hey, that's pretty good, right? But if you take a look at the effect, it's essentially on your turn, if you have 4 or more life, this leader has -1000 power. Okay. Then when attacking Dawn -1, this leader gains plus 2000 power for this turn. So in the early game, your leader is essentially a sitting duck. You can still put a Dawn and attack with it for 5k, but if you have 4 or more, so when this lead, unless you have 3 or life or less, then it will be a 4000 powered leader, which is like not ideal. But the true power comes once you are 3 life or less. Then every time you attack Dawn -1, you get 2k power. So essentially it swings for like 7k every single time. And you know how strong 7k attacking leaders are, like Smoker and Katakuri. And you can put more Dawns on him and gain more power that way as well. So I think with Eustass Kid, I mean, it seems quite weak at the start, but I do feel like it has the potential to kind of be strong at the end. However, on the kind of scale of things, I do think Law has the more immediate effect when it comes to the power level, because you are directly affecting the board. With Kid, it's just aggressive. You're attacking to the leader or anything that your opponent's rested characters, and you get a power boost from there. With Luffy, you're kind of ramping in a way, but you start at base 6k power, so it is kind of powerful. So I think there's a lot of potential with these leaders. I still think Law is the strongest, but that's just from initial impressions. I know, I just have this kind of feeling that Luffy is going to be one of those unbelievable leaders that people will try to make work. Yes, you're starting with 3 life, and hopefully if you can get up to that late game really fast without your opponent like rushing you down, I think you can really stand a chance to kind of survive, essentially. Counter early, keep your life up, and then once you're down to like 1 or 0 life, then you start defending like crazy. I just have a feeling Luffy's going to be one of the like sleeper powerhouses similar to Whitebeard levels. Every time I see 6000, I just have a really bad feeling about it. But I do think that all of these leaders look great, that's one first and foremost, and have really decent effects. Powerful enough. I can't wait to see the rest of the deck, because I want to see if the rest of the deck kind of plays into their individual strategies, because it seems like now they're all like super varied. Luffy wants to do its own thing, Eustass Kid wants to do its own thing, but again, it's really reflective of how their personalities are in the show itself, so that's kind of pretty cool as well. But there you go, a first look into our next 3 leaders coming to the next starter deck 10. Let me know what you think. I really do like these leaders, and red and purple have very interesting color combinations that could lead to more possibilities in the future. I think they're going to really shake up the metagame as well as the deck itself, because it is supposed to be a competitive deck right out of the box, not like the previous starter decks where, you know, some pieces are good, some pieces are mostly vanilla. But for this one, every single card's gonna make an impact somehow, so I can't wait to see the full deck list. It's probably going to be out later on. I think it's in July or something, July 25th if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong on that, I'll go to check it again. But once the deck is out officially, I am going to pick it up. I'd have pre-ordered it, so I'm going to do an opening so we can show you the cards and see how many of each copies of the cards are inside the deck. Anyway, that's it from me for today. I just really want to talk about these 3 new leaders. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll now see you guys in the next one. Peace.